What's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and thank you for joining me here for your free picks for Saturday, February 17th. Guys, we have a very busy day ahead of us. There's 20 free picks, actually 21 free picks in this video for you. And there's that parlay of the day for Saturday. It's another five-legger that pays out a plus 401. Uh, I think it's going to be a great day. I think we have some interesting matchups going on and should be an exciting day as far as our bets go. For more free picks, of course, go up to the YouTube channel and check it out, guys. Make sure to subscribe, make sure you hit that like button. And for my best bets, click the link in the description of this video. That will get you up to my page where you can sign up, check out my previous picks, get a daily pass, 3-day pass, 7-day pass, or even a month-long pass if that's something you want to do. And since we have a very busy weekend, I think that those 3-day or 7-day passes are definitely the way to go because you are getting the maximum value for your money with a bunch of premium picks, and that will definitely help us make a ton of money this upcoming weekend. Like I said, guys, we have a lot of games to go through, so without further ado, as we usually do, we are gonna kick it off with the EPL, and the first game is at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time between Brentford and Liverpool. And I actually read the other day, I think that was actually today or on Thursday, that Alisson is injured and he will not be in the lineup for Liverpool in this game, which is just another additional player alongside Matip, Soboslai, Thiago, who picked up another injury, even though he played only a few minutes in that game last week. And of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who rushed his return to the pitch and he got hurt again. As far as Brentford goes, they have been showing some signs of life in that attack again. They have been scoring some goals. They're coming off of a win against Wolverhampton 2-0. And I think they can score a goal here against Liverpool as well. Now, the problem is that there's no way they can keep a clean sheet. Liverpool did get Salah back. They still have a lot of offensive firepower with Darwin Nunez, Diogo Jota as well, and some other players, and they definitely have enough depth to compete against Brentford, even though they are on the road. And with that in mind, guys, both teams to score an over 2.5 at minus 128. In our next matchup, we have Burnley hosting Arsenal, and I'm going to keep this one very, very simple. I know that Burnley desperately needs points, but they haven't won any of their last seven games. They have only one win at home so far this season, alongside two draws and nine losses. While Arsenal is now on a four-game winning streak, and during this four-game winning streak, they have scored 16 goals. They also kept a couple of clean sheets. Uh, which might not be the case in this game simply because they're playing in Europe next week in the Champions League. They're facing Porto. There might be a bit of a shuffle lineup, but they definitely cannot lift their foot off the gas pedal because they are very close to the top spot and they need another win to stay there. So I'm taking Arsenal to win it over 2.5 at minus 125. Fulham will be hosting Aston Villa, and this is going to be a fairly even matchup, in my opinion. But I think that Aston Villa is due for a nice breakout performance. They actually are now on a two-game losing streak. They ended up losing at home to Chelsea and Manchester United. While Fulham, on the other side, hasn't been themselves as of late. Yes, they have beaten Bournemouth 3-1, but I think that that Aston Villa is the better team in this matchup. And even though they have a bunch of injured players, they're kind of used to it by now. And I think that Unai Emery has done everything he could this week at training to get this team ready for this matchup against Fulham, and I think it's gonna pay off. So I'm gonna take Aston Villa on the money line at plus 132. Newcastle and Bournemouth is going to be a fun match to watch because we have two teams playing very good football, especially Newcastle right now, who is undefeated in their last five games. They have only one loss of their last six games. And when playing at home, they haven't lost to Bournemouth in their last four matchups. Now, on top of that, Newcastle has been scoring a ton of goals over the last few weeks. They have scored, so in their last six games, they've scored 3, 5, 7, 10, 14, 17 goals. Now, the problem for Newcastle is that they are having a lot of problems keeping a clean sheet. And that is going to be good news for Bournemouth, who has been a little bit sloppy over the last couple of weeks, but they are definitely kind of coming back on track. They are scoring goals, they are defending better, but it's not going to be enough to keep a clean sheet. So, I'm gonna go with Newcastle to win and both teams to score in this one at plus 195. I simply have to go with the team in the better form, and that is the Newcastle. But like I said, I don't think that they can keep a clean sheet, but they can definitely outscore Bournemouth in this game. So I'm taking Newcastle to win and both teams to score at plus 195. Nottingham Forest will be hosting West Ham in the next matchup in the EPL, and neither of these two teams is playing consistently well right now. West Ham hasn't won any of their last 7 games, but yes, they are due for a nice performance, definitely. They are lacking some serious offense right now. They haven't scored a goal in their last 2 games while conceding 9 goals. And they will definitely try to bounce back here against Nottingham Forest. But Nottingham Forest at home has been scoring goals quite a lot consistently. And they deserved more than they got from their last 3 or 4 games. So I do expect a serious game from West Ham here. They will definitely try to step up on both ends, but I do expect goals in this one, guys. So over 2.5 at minus 118. That's gonna be my pick for this one. Tottenham is hosting Wolverhampton in another matchup in the EPL, and honestly, I didn't take long to decide what to take in this one. Yes, Wolverhampton got shut out against Brentford at home this last weekend, but Tottenham really cannot keep a clean sheet. They are struggling defensively, and it would be a lot worse if not for their goalkeeper who's been saving their asses. But they can definitely score goals. So this is going to be a game where I'm going to side with the home team, and that is Tottenham. But I'm going to take both teams to score as well. So I'm going to take Tottenham to win and both teams to score at plus 160. I do believe that Wolverhampton will get to the scoreboard. I think that they are good enough. I think that they're a great team this season. But Tottenham has a lot more offense than they do, and they can simply outscore them, and that's what they have been doing for most of the season so far. So Tottenham win and both teams to score at plus 160. The last game of the day in the EPL is a big matchup between Manchester City and Chelsea, and to be honest, I was kind of struggling to decide what to take here. We have seen some overs, we have seen some unders in this matchup. Manchester City is still undefeated at home this season, but they're playing in the Champions League. Actually, they were playing in the Champions League this week, so that could leave them a little bit tired. While Chelsea, on the other side, they did play earlier this week in the EPL. They have beaten Crystal Palace 3-1, and this is actually their second win in a row, and that is on the road, which definitely is going to be a huge confidence boost for this team, and they definitely have what it takes to get to the scoreboard. So maybe both teams to score in over 2.5. That could be the way to go in this one. But I found the over 4.5 cards line at minus 128. That's ultimately what I settled on. I think it could get a little bit rough, especially in the second half. Depends on the result, but. I think that City will be the dominant team here as they usually are. I think that they will create the most chances, but Chelsea in their current form, I'm hoping they can show up and hopefully they can do something in this game. If not, what can you do? That is probably the main reason why I decided to go with the cards instead of the goals or the sides or whatever. So over 4.5 cards at minus 128. In La Liga, guys, we have 3 games to talk about, and the first one is between Atletico Madrid and Las Palmas. Atletico Madrid hasn't won a game, hasn't won any of their last 3 games. However, at home this season, they're still undefeated, and they are the best home team in the league. Now they are playing in the Champions League next week. They are playing against Inter on the road, which makes me think that we could see a bit of a shuffled lineup here. But before that Champions League game, Atletico Madrid has to get back on the winning track. That will be the key for them. And excuse me, that matchup in the Champions League. But it's not going to be an easy game against Las Palmas, who actually lost only one of their last 5 games, and they have actually been quite decent when playing on the road, especially defensively, with only 11 conceded goals in 12 games. So uh, I think that Atletico Madrid will need at least a couple of goals here to get a win, to get a comfortable win. And with that in mind, I'm going to take Atletico to win and over 1.5 goals at minus 120. For our next matchup, guys, we have Celta Vigo hosting Barcelona, and it didn't take me long to decide what to take in this one. And Both teams to score in over 2.5, as big as the house. And I was actually surprised that we are getting this minus 102 price at it. Barcelona defensively, garbage of a team, and that's coming from a Barcelona fan. They do not exist when it comes to defending. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they look like a, I don't know, under 12 team playing in the park somewhere. Celta Vigo on the other side has lost four of their last five. Actually, yeah, four of their last five games, but they have been showing us that they can score goals, and they've actually been quite decent in this matchup against Barcelona, especially when playing at home. They have been scoring goals quite consistently. So uh, if we add the fact that Barcelona is playing against Napoli in the Champions League next week, they definitely are more focused on that game than this one. That should leave them wide open for Celta Vigo to score at least a goal, if not more, in this game. So both teams to score an over 2.5 at minus 102. Valencia and Sevilla is the last matchup of the day in La Liga, and we gotta be honest, neither of these two teams can defend right now. I know that Sevilla is coming off of a massive win against Atletico Madrid, 1-0, but when playing on the road, they have been conceding a lot of goals this season, and in the 11 games on the road, they have conceded 18 goals. Now, luckily for them, they're averaging about 1.2 goals scored. So that could be very much helpful to them in this game because Valencia at home is a very solid team. 50 scored goals, only six conceded goals in those 11 games. But over the last few weeks, they have been conceding goals and they really weren't up to par when it comes to defending. So I'm going to go with both teams to score in this one, and that is at minus 114. Off to German Bundesliga, guys, where we have Heidenheim hosting Leverkusen in the first game we are talking about. And same as that Celta Vigo Barcelona game, it did not take me long to decide what to take in this one. I'm going with Leverkusen to win it over 2.5. There's no betting against Leverkusen right now. They're coming off of a massive win against Bayern Munich. They have 5 point advantage over Bayern Munich at the top of Bundesliga. Yes, they are playing in that Europa League knockouts next week. And I'm not sure if they actually were playing. Well, let me just check on that real quick. I'm a bit lost right now. I lost the train of thought. But Leverkusen is not playing, which is weird. I don't know. Anyways, as far as this game goes, they need to get a win, and I simply think that they will get the win. They're playing too well right now, and they definitely have the skill, they have the form, they have the players, they have everything going their way, and they will definitely get a win against Heidenheim here. And I don't think honestly it's gonna be that hard. So I'm taking Leverkusen to win and over 2.5 goals at minus 125. Mainz is hosting Augsburg, and honestly, this could be one of the games that I will definitely uh, skip up on. And I simply for the lack of better pick, I decided to take Mainz to win and both teams to score at plus 295. Mainz is desperate for points. Augsburg has been more or less solid so far this season. Their current form is not that great, but I honestly think this is a coin flip game. It could go either way. We could see the over. We could see the under. We could see a bunch of corners. We could see only five corners in this game. I honestly could not decide my mind, and for that reason and that reason alone, I decided to take Mainz to win and both teams to score. But like I said, this is gonna be one game that I will most likely skip betting on. Darmstadt is hosting Stuttgart in the next matchup, and Darmstadt is actually coming off of a draw against Borussia Mönchengladbach, which was a surprising result. But Stuttgart is now playing pretty well. They have won their last two Bundesliga games, lost only one of their last four games, and they have been scoring a ton of goals once again. They are getting Guerassi back for this game for sure. He was in the I think he was on the bench last week. But as far as this game goes, I think he will be in the starting lineup. And Guerassi and Dennis Undaf should be enough to actually beat Darmstadt and score a few goals in this game. So I'm taking Stuttgart to win at over 2.5 goals at minus 102. Hoffenheim and Union Berlin is another matchup in Bundesliga, and as I keep saying about Hoffenheim, they are a team that cannot keep a clean sheet. If their lives depended on it right now, they could not keep a clean sheet, and they will not keep a clean sheet here as well. Union Berlin is slowly on the rise. They have lost only one of their last four games. They're coming off of a win against Wolfsburg 1-0 at home. They will look to continue that here because I feel like they could see potential in this game as being winnable to them against a very sloppy Hoffenheim's defense. And with that in mind, guys, both teams to score at minus 161. I'm being a little bit careful here. I don't want to take the over 2.5 simply because Hoffenheim had a bunch of 1-1 games. And that's the reason why I'm being so careful. But this both teams to score at minus 161 is actually perfect to put it in a double with something else. What that might be, I don't know just yet, but I think it will be in a double with something else. Wolfsburg and Borussia Dortmund is another pretty good matchup on Saturday in Bundesliga. And Wolfsburg has only one loss of their last six games, yes, but they have four draws in those six games. And they're getting further and further away from the Europa or the Conference League. But what could potentially go their way is the fact that Dortmund is playing in the Champions League next week against PSV Eindhoven on the road. And with that in mind, I think that we might expect a bit of a shuffled lineup here from them. They had some problems with injuries. Uh, they did get Sebastian Haller back from the African Cup of Nations, but he picked up an injury and he will be out for a couple of weeks. That's at least what I read earlier today. And I gotta be honest, they have been a little bit struggling over the last few weeks when it comes to that offense, especially when playing on the road. So I could potentially see a chance for Wolfsburg when it comes to this game, and I'm going to take Wolfsburg on the double chance at minus 133. Their form has been solid, not great, but solid. They have been getting positive results, and I think that they will get a positive result out of this game as well. So I'm going to take Wolfsburg on the double chance at minus 133. The last game of the day is between Leipzig and Borussia Mönchengladbach. Leipzig uh, is coming off of a loss against Real Madrid 1-0 in the Champions League, but I was watching the second half of that game, and in my opinion, they got robbed. They scored an early goal, which should have stand. It did not because of the offside, quote unquote, offside. Real Madrid were supposed to get I think, a red card in the second half. They did not. Leipzig hit a post a few times. They had a ton of shots in that game. They just couldn't score a goal. But they're not out yet. They will have to go to Madrid and do their best to get the best possible result and maybe go to the quarterfinals. Borussia Mönchengladbach on the other side is a very unreliable team. They're very unpredictable. They haven't scored a goal in their last game against Darmstadt. They kept the 0-0 against Leverkusen. They scored a goal against Bayern Munich, but still ended up losing that game 3-1. But with Leipzig being a little bit tired, I would say I think that Borussia Mönchengladbach could potentially do something in this game. And with that in mind, guys, I'm gonna take Gladbach to get over 3.5 shots on target at plus 150. I think the price is insane. Uh, like I said, they are unpredictable. They haven't been doing much over the last few weeks, and they're definitely due for a much better performance in that attacking end than what we have been seeing from them. So, like I said, Gladbach over 3.5 shots on target at plus 150. In the Italian Serie A, guys, we have three games to talk about, and the first one is between Napoli and Genoa. And with Napoli playing in the Champions League next week against Barcelona, I'm honestly not sure what we can expect from them in this game. I'm honestly not sure what we can expect from Genoa, who has been doing some decent job over the last few weeks. They lost only one of their last six games, but this is a pretty big matchup for them, and I'm sure that both sides want to win. I'm sure that Napoli wants to win, but subconsciously, I think that they're already thinking about Barcelona next week, and that could be a problem for them. So I think that this game might start a little bit slower, and I think that whatever happens, it's going to happen in the second half of this game. And for that reason, I'm going to take first half draw at plus 115. Verona will be hosting Juventus in the next matchup in Serie A, and Juventus now is actually on a two-game losing streak in Serie A. And their latest Serie A loss was against Udinese at home, which was quite unfortunate. And they basically gave the title away to Inter this season. I think that they are now 7 or 8 points away, and this is a must-win game for Juventus. I don't think that this losing streak will last. I think that they will get back on the winning track in this game. And at minus 143, I will simply take Juventus on the money line. Atalanta and Sassuolo is the last game of the day in Serie A, and Atalanta is on a 5 game winning streak right now. Uh, they have a very big game against Milan next week, and they definitely want to keep their good form high up. They want to keep winning games, and Sassuolo is a perfect team for that right now. Sassuolo hasn't won any of their last 3 games. They have lost 2 of those 3 games, and even though they are scoring goals quite consistently, they're not scoring enough to compensate for the lack of defense. So I think that Atalanta can definitely outscore anyone right now, especially teams like Sassuolo. And for that reason, I'm taking Atalanta to win and over 2.5 goals at minus 128. Off to the French League One, guys, where we have 2 games, and then we are moving on to the parlay of the day. Lille is hosting Le Havre in the first game of the French League One. That is the game at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Lille on a 2 game losing streak right now, and defensively they have been kind of dropping off of the map. While Le Havre on the other side, decent team, sure, on a 2 game losing streak as well. But in all of their games over the last few weeks, they have been showing up offensively. They have been trying to score goals. They have been creating chances. And I think that they have what it takes to do that as well against Lille here. I'm not saying by any means that Le Havre will get a win here. As we can see, Lille is a pretty heavy favorite at minus 189, and they should be because they are the better team. But like I said, I think that Le Havre will once again show up in the attack again, and I'm going to take Le Havre to have over 2.5 shots on target at minus 125. And the last game of the day before we move on to the parlay, guys, is between Nantes and PSG. Nantes is coming off of a win against Toulouse 2-1 on the road, but PSG is on a 4 game winning streak right now. Still undefeated on the road this season with 7 wins and 3 draws. And after finding out that Mbappe will be leaving at the end of the season, they're already looking for some replacements. And I'm pretty sure that everyone at PSG was expecting that, but kind of hoping that he might decide to stay, which unfortunately hasn't happened. PSG is also coming off of a win against Real Sociedad in the Champions League 2-0. Before that, they have beaten Lille 3-1 in Ligue 1. They have beaten Brest in the French Cup as well. And I think that they will beat Nantes here in the League One as well. So I'm going to take PSG to win it over 1.5 goals at minus 143. And now at the end of this video, guys, we have that big parlay of the day, a nice 5-legger. Tottenham versus Wolverhampton over 2.5 goals. Celta Vigo versus Barcelona over 1.5 goals. I'm doubling down on Juventus against Verona, taking Juventus money line. I'm taking Leverkusen on the money line in Bundesliga against Heidenheim, and I'm taking Darmstadt versus Stuttgart over 1.5 goals. And this parlay pays on at plus 403. Like I said, guys, nice 5-legger. There will be another one for Sunday, of course. There will be more free picks for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever we have going on next week. So stay tuned, guys. Check out my best bets. Make sure you subscribe. Hit a comment, hit that like button, guys. And good luck with all of your bets on Saturday. And I'll see you soon with more free picks.